Hello, friends!
Hello!
Welcome back to the home office. Today, we have a short little presentation for you regarding certain protocols that have been announced for our cruise and perhaps yours as well. We're talking about Adventure of the Seas.
Adventures of the Seas! It's the first Royal Caribbean sailing that North American passengers can sail on since this whole not cruising thing we've been doing for a while. So we're really excited about it. We leave in, 1 week? It's been 1 week since we cruised. Actually, it's been a million weeks now. It's 1 week until we cruise. So we are super excited. We are getting ready. And yesterday, we just got all the protocols that are going to be in place for us on the ship. So we wanted to share that with you because that's been a big question mark of what it's going to be like on the ship. What are we going to be expected to do and what's the experience going to expected to be like? And we're going to let you know.
Exactly. So a couple of little quick disclaimers. Number one is, of course, things are always subject to change. You guys know it's been crazy over the last year plus. Yeah. Things have been, especially in the last month or so, changing almost every day, new updates and things getting better and better. So that's great. Mm-hmm. But, you know, that's what's currently expected, at least for the beginning of these cruises, and they could change. So just keep that in mind. Number two thing is, this is specifically for these cruises on Adventure of the Seas that are leaving from Nassau, Bahamas. Now, a lot of these things may be very similar when domestic cruising starts next month. It's coming back. Yeah! So what you see here or here may be very similar for when domestic cruising returns, but it could be different. So just keep that in mind. Now, if you're interested in how we got ready for this cruise, we did film a video. It's posted to our channel. You can check that out, where we completed the Royal Caribbean app check-in. Yeah. A couple little different things there than before. And we also did the Bahamas Health Visa. So if you're looking for that information in depth, you want to check that video out. So now let's talk about these protocols. What is life going to be like on this cruise ship, Adventure of the Seas? Let's break it down section by section. So the first section, things to keep in mind before traveling to Bahamas.
So these are things you're either going to have to do for getting on the cruise that you're going to have to take care of ahead of time, or things that you're going to have to do to travel to the Bahamas.
So first things first, we're the reals. No, 16 and up must be vaccinated for all sailing dates before August 1st. Now, after August 1st, it turns to 12 and up. Now, if you're unvaccinated, ages 12 and up requires a PCR test, negative, of course, COVID PCR test, 5 days before arrival.
And of course, that's at your own expense for you to take care of and be responsible for on your own. That is a requirement for the Bahamas. If you are unvaccinated, you must have that PCR test. If you are vaccinated, you do not need to have that PCR test in order to enter the Bahamas.
And again, that was part of that health visa that we completed. You had to provide your documentation either way, whether you were putting in the test result or you were providing your vaccination information.
Right, and that's an important thing to note too. What you are going to need to bring with you, what we are expected to bring with us on this cruise in order to get on the plane and then board the ship. We are going to, of course, need our passport. We are going to need that verification that we completed that health visa. For us personally, we're going to need our official vaccination cards, not a copy, the real deal. And if you are unvaccinated, you are going to have proof of that negative COVID test.
All of those documentation items need to be with you when you travel to the Bahamas. Make sure you get all of those ready before you even think about stepping foot on a plane.
Even think about it. Don't think about it. Are you thinking about it?
All right, so that's what you need to think about. We're not thinking about? No, we're not doing that again. Before traveling to the Bahamas. But what about boarding day?
Boarding day, the day we've been waiting for. Boarding day is going to be amazing. We've been waiting for it for so long. But there are, of course, going to be some differences with this sailing because there's different things required. And it's going to be out of this hotel in Nassau where we're going to be prepping and everything because they've kind of had to make a makeshift terminal kind of situation. We'll see what that's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be a fun adventure. Cruise joke.
Oh.
Of course, because the cruise is leaving from Nassau, Bahamas, we're going to have to fly to Nassau, Bahamas. But luckily, Royal Caribbean is providing a shuttle for cost. You have to pay for it, but providing a shuttle from the airport to what hotel?
The British Colonial Hilton.
which is going to be the makeshift cruise terminal kind of situation. So you can either use that shuttle service, you can pay for it, or you can take a private taxi to the hotel as well. And they do want you to be there for your time that you picked in your check-in, your arrival time. But they said if you get there early, that's okay, because there's some shops and stuff like that you can take part in. But the good thing is if you have your luggage tags on your baggage and your luggage and everything like that, it seems like at the airport you will be able to forfeit your bags over, and they'll go ahead and take it to the cruise ship for you.
Yeah, that's our understanding. Now, this is something kind of new, and again, we don't know exactly the details. We'll have to see how it goes. But our understanding is that even if you're not doing the paying for the provided shuttle, because that usually does include luggage transfer services, even if you're going by cab or your own means of transportation, if you have those bags tagged, which you will, they'll take them and get them over to the ship for you, and you don't have to worry about it until you get to your stateroom, and then they will be there.
Yeah.
So we'll see how all that plays out, but that is our understanding, which that's a really nice feature.
There are going to be required COVID tests at the makeshift terminal. Now, these are not for everybody. Vaccinated guests do not need to take a COVID test in order to board the ship. However, unvaccinated guests, ages 2 and up, will be required to take the COVID test before boarding. The COVID test that you're going to be taking in the makeshift cruise terminal, if that applies to you pre-boarding, this is a complimentary test. You do not have to pay for this test. You do have to pay for the PCR test back in the States if you need it in order to enter the Bahamas. You do not need to pay for the one that is going to be pre-boarding. Royal Caribbean will be taking care of that.
Oh yeah!
Oh yeah, thanks Royal!
And so because we already established those ages, right, we're talking about children here.
Of course,
children would be the one getting tested, because they would be the ones who are not vaccinated. Everyone who is an adult already would be. So
exactly.
Just keep that in mind. So you've gotten vaccinated, you've gotten your test, whatever applies to you, all your documentation, you're approved, you've flown, you've traveled to the Hilton, you've checked in, all of that jazz, you've boarded the ship. Now what? What's going to be different now?
Okay, so the biggest thing I think everyone has a question about is masks.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Do you have to wear them? Well, it depends on your situation. If you are vaccinated, you do not need to wear masks. 0% masks, sir. That includes on the ship, inside, outside, perfect day at Coco Cay. You don't need to wear masks, except if one of your ports of call, if that country still is requiring masks. Whatever the port of call, whatever their mandates are at the time, you still need to follow those. But in terms of on the ship, at Perfect Day at Coco Cay, we do not need to wear masks at all. So that's
if you're vaccinated.
If you're vaccinated. Now, if you are unvaccinated, what's the situation? The situation is that if you are outside in an open air area, such as, on top of the deck, pool deck, something like that, Perfect Day at Coco Cay, you don't need to wear masks, even if you're unvaccinated.
With the small exception that unless you are in a crowded area.
That's correct.
How that is determined or defined is, I guess, up to you, because they didn't say so.
I'm sure if it's a situation that you need to put your mask on, someone will let you know. But if you are inside, you do need to wear masks if you are unvaccinated, unless you are actively eating or drinking.
Or you are inside your stateroom with your traveling party.
And also a small note on the reverse side, if you are in a pool or a water activity, you are not allowed to wear masks, period, for safety reasons, of course. So pretty easy to remember. If you are vaccinated, you don't need to wear masks. If you are not vaccinated, you need to wear them in crowded areas or inside.
Yes. Now, you mentioned following the regulations of those local ports, Cozumel and Grand Bahama Island, for these sailings. And so something to go along with that. Big question people have asked is, do we have to do excursions through Royal Caribbean? They were very limited for these sailings.
Yeah.
Or can we mosey about and wander off on our own? And the answer is you can do the latter.
You can mosey.
You can mosey.
We're going to be moseying.
You can skedaddle. And again, obviously, those are subject to change, so that you will want to check in with Cozumel or Grand Bahama Island, which is the Bahamas, what their regulations and stipulations are right before you go, because those can change. You don't have to book an excursion directly through Royal Caribbean. You can book your own, you can third party, you can wander. Can go your own way.
Go your own way.
So that's going to make a lot of people happy. Now, back on board, a couple other things in regards to how protocols will be different. We talked about masks, of course, but then let's think about dining here, because that was another big question. Lots of rumors several months back. Were buffets out? Were they done? Was the Windjammer RIP? And the answer is absolutely not.
No.
The Windjammer will exist. It lives. Couple little differences here. So, number one is that it will not at this time be open for dinner. Oh! Right through my heart.
That hurts a little.
That hurts us. We love to go to the Windjammer for dinner because
it's so chill.
No one else does, and it's quiet
so
in there. We'll be open for breakfast and lunch. Now, interesting thing here is that I don't think they're requiring it, but they are recommending that you make reservations.
Yes, I think because they are trying to make sure people stay spaced, and it's going to be a little bit of a limited capacity, and we all know how busy the buffet can get. They're doing the reservations so to ensure that it doesn't get overcrowded.
So it's a little bit different doing the reservation, but that will be available in the Royal Caribbean app. Once you get on board, there's also a reservations phone number you can call and do that as well. Now, you can still reserve specialty dining and My Time dining reservations ahead of the cruise on the cruise planner, just like you've always been able to do. But these new reservations for the Windjammer, as well as reservations for the main dining room that are not My Time dining, the standard early and late seating, those can be done again through the app once on board or via that number that you can call.
And we'll definitely be showing you all this once we're actually on board and going through the process ourselves. So just be looking out for those vlogs coming up very soon, because we're sailing very soon.
Oh, yeah. Now, we mentioned that these dining reservations are putting this into place because, of course, they're going to keep tables separated and spaced out. Well, they're doing the same thing with entertainment. So theater shows, ice skating shows, different things like that. We don't know to what extent this will include, but we've been told that they will be spaced as well. But they do recommend that you book show times on board. Once you're on board via the Royal Caribbean app, of course, go ahead and reserve a time slot there. That way you're sure to get in. Here comes the unfun part.
Oh no, towards the end of the cruise.
Oh, we don't even want to talk about that. We just got cruising back. We don't want to give it away.
We're not going to think about this too much, but we are going to tell you this one thing because it is important.
It is very important. So, as you may know, anyone who is flying into the United States or even back into the United States, doesn't matter if you're a citizen, a visitor, whatever, you have to have a negative COVID test.
Right.
And result so that you can provide that. Royal Caribbean will be providing that for all guests ages 2 and up, free of charge. Much like Gilderoy Lockhart and young Mr. Potter.
And this is required. So this is required for everybody, vaccinated, unvaccinated. As long as you are the age 2 or higher, you must get this required but complimentary COVID test so you can re-enter into the US. And this test, this required complimentary test, is going to take place on day 6 of our cruise. It's a 7-night cruise. Our testing day is going to be day 6, so we can get tested, have the results back by the time that we are ready to disembark. And we don't know yet exactly the scheduling or where this is going to take place yet on the ship. They said that they would let us know that once we're on board. So we'll definitely give you more information about that once we know it.
All right, so there you go. That's kind of from beginning, before you go, when you get there, when you're on the ship, and when you're getting ready to leave the ship. All the things that you can expect on these sailings. Once again, we cannot make it adamant enough, clear enough, hammer it home enough that this is subject to change. It is what's current at the time of this video.
Some of this information may be applicable to the domestic sailings that will be starting up in the next month. However, we don't know that for sure. What we do know for sure is this applies directly to our Adventure of the Seas sailing out of Nassau, Bahamas. So keep that in mind, that is definitely directly related to our sailing, and that's where we've gotten affirmation of this information. We do not know yet for sure if it's going to apply to those domestic sailings coming up, but I do think that they're going to try to apply some of these things and try to make things as cohesive and equatable as possible. So we may expect to see some of these things, but just also be aware that some differences may occur.
And one final point in that regard, as Royal Caribbean has long said and other cruise lines have long said, this will be temporary. This is going to be phased out. All of these adjustments, as you know, the further we get away from COVID-19, the more we get back to regular. And to be honest, we didn't think it was going to start this quickly.
I never thought in a million years that our first cruise back would be maskless. I never thought that in a million years. We really could not be more ecstatic about the sailing coming up, and it's going to be great. We just can't wait.
We cannot wait, and we can't wait to share all of it with you, so be sure to stay tuned. If you are heading on your own sailing on Adventure of the Seas out of Nassau, Bahamas, then we hope you found this video helpful. Again, be sure to check out that video where we showed the help visa process and getting checked in on the app. If that is going to be applicable to you, we think you'll find that very useful. Now, for everyone, we hope you'll stay tuned because, of course, we're going to have a full and complete Adventure of the Seas playlist coming your way. Get ready. It's coming. It's coming. We hope we will see you for the next one when we're actually on board Adventure of the Seas. June 12th. Sailing from Nassau, Bahamas. First Royal Caribbean cruise from North America in a year plus. Until next time.
Happy travels.
They are coming.
Yay!